Hey Dane, how
Steven. Hi. How are
man?
you?
Been a long time. Great. Can you hear me?
Yeah. It's been a really long time. I think was it
Yeah,
last year?
yeah, that's right. I was seeing on the historic, and the last time was on October 28th, I guess. So yeah, it's been almost a year. It's crazy. Wow.
Almost. Yeah. I don't know what it is, Nick, but it's just Cambly's really weird. I don't know whether it's the subscriptions or how the subscriptions work, but this week I've had 5 students from 2 years ago book lessons with me. Haven't seen
Wow.
them for 2 years.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow.
But it happens like in a patch over time. This happened before. It happened
Mm-hmm.
like 2 months ago. I have like students. One of my students, I hadn't seen him for 3 years,
Wow. And
and it's like, hi, yeah.
why is that? Do you it is because the students they like you and they just come back to you.
Do you know? I think that there's a couple of things. Students get bored of trying to book a lesson with me because they can't find the time.
Yeah,
They can't.
that,
There's
that
no
is true.
time on the schedule. Yeah, so they're looking
I've
at
been trying to, yeah, I've been trying for some time to schedule a class with you. It's been hard.
have you?
Yeah, yeah,
Look,
yeah.
message me. All you have to do
Yeah,
is
sure.
message me, really. And what I can do. See, what you don't know about my schedule is I have 1 hour break. So I do a 2 hour session and then I have a 1 hour break. The 1 hour break that I
Hmm.
have, I work on. I've got my own businesses and things to do, but sometimes I'm
Yeah, I
free.
remember.
And in
Yeah,
that, I can create a half-hour lesson for students. So I give some of those half hours away to regular students
yeah.
that are struggling to book. But it is difficult because I have at the moment a super tutor status, but
Hmm.
that status drops, and then I'm not a super tutor. When
Oh,
I'm a super
yes, that's
tutor,
true.
you get lots of people think, super tutor, I'll book a lesson with him. Yeah, and that
Yeah,
fills up
that
your
gets in the
your
way.
schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, so for this time that I've been taking classes with other tutors, I remember that after some time I found a very nice tutor, and I've been taking some regular classes with him, and then I saw that my English improved a lot, since from the accent, from the vocabulary, the confidence, and all that stuff. And then I wanted to just take classes with other tutors just to know more about. Get more contact with other accents, and it's been helping a lot.
So how much do you feel that you've improved greatly then, or there's a significant improvement
Yeah,
from?
like significantly. So for the last time that we spoke, I was working for a consulting company. I've worked there for I think more than 7 months, 6 months, something like that.
Yeah,
And then I changed companies, so I went to work for a company in Toronto, okay, remotely, and I stayed there for, I would say, barely 3 months.
yeah.
So it was a nice experience at the same time, but I could say that I learned a lot, not only from working with projects with AI, other types of softwares and stuff like that, but also to practice my English, because it is different when you're already used to like working here in Brazil and working with
Yeah.
people in your mother tongue, and it's comfortable. But when I changed that, my routine it had a big effect on me, and I think my English just leaped a lot,
Yeah.
just put on the work and the practice, I would say.
But it certainly sounds like it as well. So it sounds like you've made some significant advancements with your speaking for sure. Grammar's very good, and your pronunciation is very good as well. So well done. So you
Thank
booked
you.
a lesson. So you booked a lesson with me today. And what was your reasoning behind booking a lesson with me today?
Yeah,
What
so
kind of things you?
so so first of all, I've been scheduling 1 hour classes to get to know more about other tutors. So I'm trying to every week having a different class with a different tutor. So it's not only about practicing the English, but also getting to know more about other cultures, other things.
Mm.
I spoke to a lot of tutors that are like from different countries like Malaysia, Thailand, Bulgaria. Is yes.
Really?
Yeah,
Slovenia,
yeah.
Czechoslovakia,
So,
Azerbaijan.
yeah, so I would just say that it's more about the knowledge, because it's a fun thing to do as well, not only about practicing and having regular classes.
So what are you when you're having these lessons? What are you doing in the lessons? Are you free talking? Are you doing any
Free
grammar?
talking all the time, the entire hour. All the tutors that I had classes with, I just was having conversation about different topics. About, for example, I first of all I tried to understand what was the motivation for that person, the tutor, to go that place. So um, some tutor said that he went to, for example, Malaysia when he was in his 30s, and I just asked like why you do that. Was it for business, for your family, for friends? And then I was just like free talking with them, just
So
talking
what
about
about structuring then? You don't do anything in structuring or grammar. You did. I think
actually
me and you
no.
did IELTS last year.
I won't remember. I
And
remember the
the
first we
jargon.
just spoke a little. I remember that we've just had some conversations. Something that you spoke to me that really
I
marked
said
me
to
at
you,
the time. You talked about flatline, because I was having some troubles at work, trying to balance my life with the work. And I remember you told me that every day you need to have the discipline to try to flatten that line, and that
yeah,
really marked me.
balance it.
And for some time that worked, was really able to put in the work, put in the effort to trying to flatten that line. And then it came this another job. I stayed there for like barely 3 months, like I told you, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
they fired me. Okay, so basically what happened was we had a lot of projects. It's basically a franchisor in Toronto, so it just manages a bunch of different types of franchisees there. And some franchises are just to grow them, then sell for a bigger price after some time. And
yeah.
then there are some that is just for continuous support, because they have more profit with it. Um, I would say that for the bigger projects, I was doing a great work, but some then it wasn't like a huge thing. I was making a lot of minor mistakes. I was having a hard time with that. And I won't say it was relevant, because for the biggest projects I was doing a nice work, and for others wasn't doing. It was just the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Just because it was a lot of things, it was a lot of demand. And I had some conversations like with my manager, remember. And uh, I remember, well, like every week we used to talk, having one-on-ones to understand what's going on, if what I'm doing it's nice, if it's not. And I remember, like, for these little things that I was missing, like some doing some reports. I remember there was a project that I had to do some research about new franchisees that could potentially be useful for the franchisor. And I had to do some reports and podcasts with AI, just to show them to the brand that if it's worth it or not. And I remember that you had to pay attention to the report and the podcast that it was generated, because the AI could potentially make some errors. And
Yeah.
because I had a lot of things to do, some errors passed by. And I guess that's why I was fired. And I
I
would
think you
like,
were fired because you was working within a company that had a revolving door policy.
Yeah, I was going to tell
Revolving
you
door
about that
policy
as well
sounds more
because
like it. It's not like minor mistake. Minor mistake that you're
yeah,
making
I
can
could
be
say it. I would say that I made some mistakes, but I could
doesn't
say it
justify
as
being
well.
fired.
Yeah, but at the same time, just after, before like a week or two before I was fired, I remember my manager opened the same uh, uh, job application LinkedIn, for with the same description of what I was doing, So the other thing that I've noticed is that the people that are in the company for a longer time, they don't like entering a small position. They continue growing over time. So they had other experience, and then they enter in a high position like a senior or a manager or something like that. So I don't know if they just, like you said, they're just revolving. They're changing positions. They're trying to find the best uh,
Yeah, revolving door
uh,
policy.
guy for the job because the
Constantly
girl
having
that
talent.
was,
Yeah, you
yeah, so
constantly have talent coming through the door. This is really easy for an organization. The first time I actually came across a revolving door policy was in a law firm, and
mm,
the graduates that were going into the law firm would stay for exactly 3 months. And I did
yeah.
this is it. So this where I was working is called it is called Pinsett Masons. It's one of the most exclusive addresses in London, in Liverpool Street.
Hmm.
To rent an office there, you need to be highly successful in what you're doing and maybe work in law or work in finance. I was working in finance. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful building. The building is just amazing. It's got a glass elevator on the outside of it, and it's like
Hmm.
26 floors.
Yeah.
So you can see when you go up in the. Some people wouldn't use the elevator because they were frightened of the height, of heights, because it's
Yeah.
just flat on the outside. You're going, and it was an express, so it went really, really fast. But so in the foyer was a lots of breakout areas with sofas and coffee machines and things like that. And so sometimes I would go in the breakout area and I would meet these people that were onboarding, these candidates, these people that were working in the
Hmm.
company, get to know them, and then they disappear. And one day I saw the the managing director of the law firm, and
Uh-huh.
I went over to him and I said, seen you quite a few times. My name's Dane. I work on the 22nd floor. Our business, blah blah blah. And I said, why do you have such a high turnover of ex grads and interns? Why is that? And he said, oh, Dane, we have a revolving door policy. He said, we only keep them for three
Oh,
months. We
wow.
take everything from them. Anything new that they can give us, we take it. And then at the end of the 3 months, we part company, and somebody
Hmm.
new takes their place in order to get these new ideas and to keep everything fresh and bubbling. And that was the first
Wow.
time, and that was years ago. That was the first time I was exposed to a revolving door
I didn't know
policy.
about that. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so
I,
it was.
I
It's
didn't think
basically
that was common.
it is. It's more common. I've run a company like that. I had a company like that. Right? Okay, now, when I saw this, I
Yeah.
thought, okay, so what I did
Mm.
was I didn't employ people. What I did is I set them up as consultants. Then I gave
Hmm.
them KPIs. So their KPIs, if they didn't achieve their KPIs and well, because I set the KPIs, I knew that they would either meet them or they wouldn't meet them. So I was in a position that if I didn't think that somebody was suitable enough to be efficient and beneficial for what we were trying to achieve as an organization, I could easily just move them out of the company after 3 months. The ones that were very, very good at what they were doing, then actually I did something else. I invited them to become shareholders within the organization. So I
Wow.
gave them ownership. Yeah, this meant that the loyalty level went like that. Now I've got,
Hmm.
not only am I giving them KPIs that are achievable, but now they feel that they have a sustainable future with a company that they own, that they
Yeah.
have, they physically are part of it. So you might ask me, how many people did I push through the revolving door? Actually, I didn't. after 3 months, I never removed anybody because the way that I manipulated the KPIs and the way that I encouraged and empowered the people that were working for me, they knew that if they met their KPIs and they were speaking to the other people that were working there, they knew that they would be offered a share option within the company. So they worked their asses off. And I never had to remove anybody from the organization. So it's a really good policy of getting new blood and new ideas, but it's also a way of keeping your existing or the talent that you have and making them work harder.
Yeah.
But that was years ago. That was 12, 13 years ago I did that.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, I didn't thought that it was very common. For example, another girl that entered the same position as mine. Yeah, she's also from here, from São Paulo, and she passed from for the same thing. Both of us were fired like in the same time span. So yeah, I don't know if it's they trying to, like you said. No,
Nick,
yeah,
don't take it
do.
personally because this is a strategic action that is made by the powers that be.
Yeah, so like you said, I don't know if it's just to keep things fresh or they really trying to find the right person for the job. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
it's revolving
a little
door.
bit of both.
It's a revolving door, buddy. You're just going in and out and churning, and it's like a meat grinder. Just grinding meat, putting new meat in and grinding it out.
Yeah. No, but I would say it was I would say it was a nice experience. I had to practice my English a lot, improve, like I said, just lip over. I learned new things that I know for sure that will be useful in the future for new jobs. So yeah, I don't take it personally. I know it's just some experience that some people will just go through. So yeah.
Well, I've actually got some different new material that I use on Cambly. I've just opened my diary up privately for private tuition. I've just opened one day up, but everything that I do privately, when I do private tuition and coaching, business coaching, I take the material and the things that I use in that, and I bring it to Cambly. And it's really cool. You mentioned podcasting, and I've got the material that I've got that you might be interested in doing today is a podcast from the BBC. It's a 6-minute podcast. And what the exercise would be, I'll show you it. And if you want to do it, you can do it. If you don't, you don't have to.
No, it's okay. Let's do it.
But this is not a reading exercise. I need to make that quite clear that we're not trying to help you with your reading. We're going to try and create a better speaking or help you to speak more authentic in English, if that makes sense. So
sure.
This podcast, as you can see, the title of the podcast is Tech That Refuses to Die. And the exercise that we do. Yeah, you've got a car horn. Well done. Right, that is somebody not very happy outside. I do apologise. Okay, so we have a transcript. And in the transcript, you could be Phil and I could be Georgie. And you read the lines of Phil. But I'm going to emphasise this is not about reading. So just for instance, so Phil's first line is, and if I'm reading, this is what I sound like. Hello, this is 6-Minute English from BBC Learning. I'm Phil.
Oh, okay.
But this is not a reading exercise, so we're not going to read it. We're going to speak it. So I would say, hello, this is 6-Minute English, BBC Learning English. I'm Phil.
This is reading. Yeah.
Right. So what we're doing, we're making it sound natural. The way that I'm making it sound natural is I'm using pauses. When I'm speaking, and in English, we use a lot of pauses. And the good and bad thing is, you can use, there's no rules. You can use pauses wherever you want. The bad news is that it's quite difficult to master the skill of using pauses. So I'll help you. The way that you can start using pauses is when you see punctuation within the sentence. So we've got hello, and there's a full stop. When you see the full stop, you can do this in your mind. You can say hello. 1, 2. This is 6 Minute English from BBC Learning English. 1, 2. I'm Phil. So what you're doing is you're creating that pause just 2 seconds, and this is to condition your mind into making more pauses when you're speaking English.
Yeah.
So, would you like to try it?
Sure. Let's go.
Okay. Well, there's a little bit of vocabulary first. I'm just going to show you that. Just tell me if you know this vocabulary. Obsolete.
Yeah. Sure.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Idiom.
Okay.
You know this? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes.
Okay. Clockwork.
Yes.
QWERTY.
Yes.
Verbatim.
I've heard about it, but I don't remember the original meaning of it.
Okay. Stick with.
Yes.
So verbatim, if you've ever seen court on TV or ever been in a courtroom, what you'll see is a stenographer. And the stenographer is recording everything. Verbatim means to record everything exactly as it is said. And in court, you have to do that. Everything has to be recorded exactly as it's been said. So this is verbatim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go to the exercise. You do that.
Sure.
So is this big enough? Can you see this? Okay.
Yeah. It's okay.
So you're Phil, and I'm Georgie. So when you're ready, remember this is not about reading; it's about creating these little pauses, and you can pause anywhere. This is 6 Minute English from BBC Learning English. You can put them anywhere, the pauses, but this is what it's about. Okay, so when you're ready.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Hello, this is 6 Minute English from BBC Learning English. I'm Phil.
It's a bit quick, wasn't it? No pauses.
Okay, may I try again?
Yep.
Hello, this is 6 Minute English from BBC Learning English. I'm Phil.
And I'm Georgie.
The exciting thing about technology is that it's always changing. Can you remember when your computer, floppy disks, handheld Game Boys, and fax machines were in fashion? Do you still have a Walkman cassette from player from the 80s?
Nick, you're reading.
Mm.
Remember that imagine you're an actor. You're going to be an actor now, okay?
Okay.
You can act these lines. They're lines, and you need to act them.
Mm-hmm.
So the traditional sense of reading, where you just continue reading, we need to stop that and break it up. The reason being is that I want you to adopt this into your English speaking. So when you're speaking English, that you can explain, describe, and put these pauses in. When I say, when you're speaking English, you can explain and describe. Okay, do you want to try again?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
That's it. The exciting thing about technology is that it's always changing. Can you remember when computer floppy disks, handheld Game Boys, and fax machines were in fashion? Do you still have a Walkman cassette player from the 80s?
Now, today's technology progressed so quickly that old tech soon becomes obsolete, no longer in use, having been replaced by something better or more fashionable.
So, You might be surprised to hear that until recently, the government of Japan still used 3.5-inch floppy disks to store official documents that around the world, music cassettes and Walkmans are making a comeback, and that even the world famous Swiss CERN physics laboratory uses old fashioned magnetic tape reels to record its data.
Your previous paragraph was brilliant. The previous paragraph that you did was brilliant. It
Which
sounded
one?
really the exciting thing about technology is that it's
Mhm.
always changing. You read that, you spoke that, you didn't read it. It was brilliant, and that's why I
Okay.
continued. So I'll continue again. Just remember that you're going to put the pauses in there. You want to sound really, really natural. You did a fantastic job. That's what we want to hear.
Okay.
Yes, it seems that some old technology just refuses to die. Maybe because people still love it, or maybe because maybe because of the old English proverb: "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." Meaning that things that should only be changed if they don't work. So, in this program, we'll be hearing about old tech, which continues to be used today. And, as usual, we'll be learning some new useful vocabulary as well.
But first, I have a question for you, Georgie. Computers have seen some of the biggest advances in technology. But what was the name of the first computer developed for home use in the UK? Was it the Commodore 64, the Sinclair ZX80, or the BBC Micro?
Hmm, I'll guess. It was the Commodore 64.
Okay, Georgie, we'll find out if that's the correct answer later in the program. One reason for not updating tech is if the original design still works well. The NASA engineer Jonathan Sauter designed the HAR-V, a mechanical rover able to survive the inhospitable conditions on where
Venus.
temperatures reach Venus, where temperatures reach 460 degrees. Here's Jonathan talking to the BBC World Service program, Tech Life.
Okay, you could be Jonathan as well. Remember to
Okay.
try and put as many pauses in. You've got your cues for pauses all the way through here. So we've
Okay.
got the cues, but try to use more pauses if you can, because it sounds brilliant. When you do it, it sounds so good.
Okay. Venus has a very long night. It's actually about 60 days long that you're in total darkness. So that's where we came up with the concept of for HAR-V, that is, a mechanical clockwork rover that could be powered by Venus's winds in order to allow it to survive Venus's long nights.
The conditions on Venus mean that ordinary electronics simply won't work. That's why Jonathan built a clockwork rover. A machine with springs and wheels inside, which works when it's wound up with a key. Clockwork technology from the first century being used in 2024 by NASA.
Other tech which refuses to die is just too much trouble to change. For example, countries around the world use different electro plugs, which would be better to standardize. But imagine the work involved. Here, Chris Valence, presenter of BBC World Services Tech Life, discusses a similar example with Dr. Tasia Philipson, science curator at the National Museum of Scotland.
Okay, I'll be Chris. Another piece of tech that people say has sort of refused to die is QWERTY keyboard. the layout of the keyboard that we all have. So, and perhaps it's not the most efficient layout in terms of the speed of typing. You could be Dr. Tace.
Okay. It's the layout we're all really used to, though. And if you see court reporters, stenographers, they have special keyboards and can type so fast to take down verbatim, but they also look very complicated. I don't actually want to learn to use one of those, so I'll stick with QWERTY for the moment.
So Chris and Tace discussed QWERTY, the traditional typewriting arrangement of keys on computer keyboard, in which the top line begins with the letters Q, W, E, R, T, and Y. In terms of being able to type quickly, QWERTY isn't the best. In fact, court reporters type much faster with alternative keyboards. Court reporters need to type fast to record cases verbatim, using exactly the same word that were originally spoken.
But because everyone is used to QWERTY keyboards, the tech lives on. That's why Tessie says she'll stick with QWERTY. She'll continue using it and not change to something else. And speaking of QWERTY keyboards, has reminded of my question, Georgie.
Yes, you asked me the name of the first home computer released in the UK, and I guessed it was the Commodore 64.
Which was the wrong answer, I'm afraid. In
Oh,
fact, in fact, the UK's first home computer was the Sinclair ZX80, which was released in 1980 and used a whopping 4 kilobyte memory. That's about half an email. Okay, it's time to recap the vocabulary we've learned in this program, starting with obsolete, meaning no longer in use, having been replaced by something newer or better.
the idiom, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is used to say that if something is working, there's no reason to try to change it.
Clockwork machinery uses metal springs and wheels which move when they are wound up with a key.
QWERTY refers to a traditional typewriter arrangement of keys, which the top line begins with the letters Q, W, E, R, T, and Y.
If you say something verbatim, use exactly the same words which that was originally used.
And finally, to stick with something means to continue using or doing it. Once again, our 6 minutes are up, but remember to join us again next time for more trending topics and useful vocabulary here at 6 Minute English. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Did you like that? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it is fun, you know. Sometimes I remember this work I was doing for this company in Toronto that when I had some meetings with uh, otherwise some people that was from the internal team or from the clients, and I was too much accelerated, you know. And this is a very useful thing to do because you add those pauses. It sounds like you said more natural, more authentic, you know. It's so yeah, it is fun to do. It's nice.
You need to, I think it's very easy to just run with your vocabulary. When you run with vocab, what I mean is you speak quickly and
Yeah.
you're going to run into a dark room, a vocabulary dark room. And that means that when you're explaining something, either you'll be so focused on what you're explaining that you'll actually forget what the topic is. You'll not be able to find vocabulary because you're thinking too quickly. This way, what this does is it allows you time to think But the great thing about that is that you sound more English and you sound more confident.
Yeah.
So what I'd really like to do with you now, we've just done this, but what I'd like to do is just test your listening. Okay, is it okay if I test your listening?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to ask myself a question. Okay, and then I'm going to give the answer. I'll give the answer to my question. So I'll ask Dane a question and Dane will answer it.
Okay.
What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to listen to the question very carefully. Then tell me if you think the answer is correct or incorrect. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's think of something. Okay, here's a question. Dane, could you give me some examples or times when you felt overwhelmed in your job? Answer. Okay, that's a great question. Yeah, last week my director actually handed me a project, and it's a very important project. And I didn't leave the office until 11 or 12 o'clock every night. I had to put that work in, but I felt really overwhelmed by that.
Okay, it's correct. Really?
We missed something. So what's happening is when you're listening, in your case, this is not necessarily true, but when you're learning a language, you're listening, you're translating, you're then from translating to you're interpreting, and from interpreting, if you ask a question, then you start formulating and composing your answer. All of this is really, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I know I think I told you before, I speak 2 other languages. So I'm telling you from experience, not from what I read in a book. So this is a lot for your brain to do. And what happens is immediately you start going through this translation interpretation process. When that happens, it's detrimental to one thing, listening. You stop listening. You actually stop listening to you because you're trying to work out, translate, interpret, formulate.
Yeah.
So there's this pressure. In your case, you're advanced. You're at an advanced stage. So your fluency level is really, really good. But we need to focus on listening, and the devil is in the detail, as we say. So let's listen to the question again, and then you can tell me if you can identify why that answer would be wrong.
Okay.
Dane, can you give me some examples or times when you felt overwhelmed in your job? Examples is plural. Times is plural. I'm asking for examples and times. The answer was singular.
Yeah.
I only gave one example. I only gave one time.
Yeah.
These little things that we miss.
Yeah.
They're the little tiny things that we miss that mean the difference between a right answer and half an answer. So we've just, because of this process that's happening. So listening is a really important aspect of how you then communicate. So hopefully by doing exercises like this, what I'm doing is trying to slow you down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to slow, because
makes sense.
Yeah, you know that you're fluent, you've got a high fluency level, you know this, but let's start polishing things. Let's start making things sharper. Yeah. with your English. Yeah, let's start working on the smaller things that seem insignificant, but they're not. They're actually really, really important. Yeah. So, you said at the beginning that you like people's life stories and things like that, and cultural things. I noticed on TV, I switched my TV on. It's the first time in a long time. Switched it on, and there was a movie just starting, and it was Tom Hanks in Castaway. Have you seen that movie?
I've seen it, yes.
So would you believe me if I told you that I did that. I went to a deserted island on purpose.
Wow. I would not believe it.
Yeah, it was amazing. I didn't know what was going to happen. And if you want the story, you can comment on this. I'm engaging you in conversation, so you can ask questions wherever you want.
Sure.
So when I was in my 30s, my marriage had failed. I'd lost my children and I lost my business. And I thought, I always called myself a survivor. I've always said I've survived in business, I survive in life. I'm a survivor. But this was really bad. I'd lost, my marriage had broken up, and I'd lost 3 businesses, and all my money was gone, and I had to start all over again. And I thought, I need to test myself. I need to find out if I am really what I think I am. I tell myself that I can survive, but what is the reality of that? So I booked a one-way ticket to an island in the Atlantic. I flew into North Africa and then took a boat to an island and got dropped off at the island with nothing. I had half a packet of cigarettes, a lighter, and some water, a bottle of water, and the clothes that I was wearing. No knife, no fishing gear, no nothing. And after you would think the hardest thing initially was I needed to find water. But I knew that there was water on the island if I did things the right way. And what I did is I dug a hole below sea level inland, behind the beach. I dug this hole, and within 3 or 4 hours, it started filling up with fresh water. So I solved my water problem. Within 3 months, I wasn't surviving, I was thriving. I had everything that I needed, and it was washed up on the beach. I didn't need to have fishing hooks and fishing line. It was all over the beach. So I could fish, and I could, I found a piece of metal, a long shard of metal that looked like it came off a packing case or something, and I turned it into a knife.
Yeah.
And everything that I needed was there. And I didn't have blankets I slept on pebbles. My bed was made of different sized pebbles, and it was so comfortable. And I slept on the beach. I made a shelter, and I stayed there for 6 months. And the reason I said I thrived was because some of the indigenous people near the island that I was on would come and fish. And what I would do is I would trade with them and even go to their island and trade for things with stuff that I'd found on the beach, or if I caught a lot of fish, I would go and sell my fish. And they would always give me more than it was worth. So if I wanted a bag of sugar or something like that, and I had a little fish, they'd go, here you go. If they knew that I was on the island, they were very, very kind to me, and they knew that I needed things. So trading, and that's why I started thriving. And at that point, I knew that I was a survivor. I knew that I could survive anything, even if I had nothing. Half a packet of cigarettes. That's the hardest thing, was giving up smoking. Yeah, I went through that half a packet of cigarettes really, really quickly. Too quickly. I tried to save one for a week, but that didn't last for long. I smoked it.
Yeah.
It was a very difficult phase. So I think sometimes in life, when you feel that things are negative and that you don't have that balance, sometimes it's good to challenge yourself. Don't just think about it. Don't just have words, have actions.
Yes.
And push, and push, and push. Because what you'll find out is that you're either going to be good at it or you're not. But you'll know the truth about yourself.
Yeah.
Not just what your mind is saying, oh, I am brilliant at doing this, or oh, I'm terrible at doing that. Go and do it. Go and do it, because you might find out that you're not just good at doing something, but you're exceptionally good at doing it. And these are the things when you reach these crossroads in life, where whether it's with a relationship, whether it's with a job, you come to a crossroad and you're desperately trying to look down one road to see, is this the road that I should take? But then you see another road and you're thinking, oh, should I do that? So understanding who you are as a person makes you critically think more effectively and decision
Yes.
make more efficiently when it comes to navigating your future. This is what I've done all of my life. And again, I'm not telling you because I read that in a book. This is what I needed to go through. Times in my life when I felt, what the hell do I do now? What can I do now? So
Yeah.
having a good mental having a good mental balance about who you are is really important.
Yes. Yeah.
You'll get good at it.
Uh, yeah. It's funny because when you told me like you basically lost just everything, like you said about your marriage, about you said also about your daughter, something like that, right? And the first thing that I would get, just like you said, to go to an island by yourself would be either for just trying yourself, trying to prove something to yourself, saying that you're capable of, or trying to escape. Would you say that which thing
It's
was the
both.
strongest?
No, it's both. Absolutely, escapism was part of it. But escapism into throwing yourself into a situation that actually could be life-threatening. One of the biggest concerns that I had when I was on the island was being injured. Being injured wasn't an option. Having a cut on your hand, cutting your finger, being bitten by something, or being scratched by something in the sea was not an option.
Yeah.
If that happened, there's no telephone. You don't. Oh yeah, can I send an ambulance? That doesn't happen. So this is survival at its hardest, and this confronting the evils that you have in your life is about, sometimes we need to be in the escapism mode in order to truly understand who we are as a person, so that we can focus totally on your own inner mentality in order in order to overcome your challenges.
Yes.
You're right. It was both. Excuse me.
Sure.
So could you imagine yourself in that situation?
I could sometimes, like mainly when it comes to the feeling of escaping, you know, sometimes where everything just went wrong, and sometimes you just want to escape, like live another life where it's more comfortable. But I know that I have to just face it, you know.
I was wondering if you'd ask me a question. Why did I leave the island? Why did I leave? So
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I left the island. Because there's something really quite important that I want to tell you about the island is.
Sure.
I was getting on very, very well with some fishermen, and they would come every 3 or 4 days, and sometimes they would bring in gifts for me and things like that. They became really good friends, and they understood what I was trying to do. I made a phone call to my father because my father was quite ill, and he was living in Spain. And I made a phone call to him just to check in. It had been 6 months since I spoke to him, just to check in that he's still alive. And I called him, and he said, I'm going to die. So I said, oh, when? Hey, can you be a bit more specific, Dad? And he said, well, I don't know. I don't know. Would you come and look after me for a while? And I said, yeah, okay. And I left the island. The question is, if my dad if my dad did, or my dad had already passed away, would I have left that island? The answer is no. I'd still be there.
I thought about that. Because I mean, it's an interesting life, because sometimes I feel like this way, like just in the middle of the chaos, and I see myself in a more peaceful life, what I
Simple.
really need to survive.
Yeah, you're in control of everything. And what happens is people think that you must be lonely. Actually, no, what I like being with me. I like me. I can entertain myself. I know that. Like I said, I lived on an island for 6 months, and I didn't go without meeting. I wasn't always alone, if that makes sense. There was some interesting female people that I met when I went.
Yeah.
As and when I needed female company, I could go and have female company. So it was an idyllic lifestyle where now you're able to open your mind beyond the trappings, if you want to call it that, of civilian life.
Yeah.
So I haven't told you this, but actually I'm saving money at the moment, and I've got a pot of money. And my pot of money, I need another $25,000 by February 2026. But once I have that $25,000, additional $25,000, I'm going to buy a yacht. I'm going to create my own. Yeah, I'm going to create my own island, the yacht.
Wow, that's nice.
So I've got that in October. I'll go to do 7 hours of practical seamanship for my pilot's license.
Yeah.
But that will only take me 120 kilometers offshore with up to 8 passengers. So then I'm going to buy a yacht, sail her down to the Greek islands, and spend maybe 6 months in the Greek islands, anchoring out, not stopping in ports and things like that, but anchoring out in islands. There's lots of islands there.
Yeah.
And then hone my sailing skills. And if I can do it, my next big adventure may be sailing across the Atlantic solo.
Wow. Yeah. That is a big myself.
Thing. So I'd leave the Mediterranean into the Atlantic, go to Tenerife, anchor out around Tenerife, wait for the right weather, and then
just go. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Brazil, here I come.
Wow, that is a very nice thing, you would say that this is perhaps your dream for this life.
We can make our dreams come true, though, but I would never tell you to follow your dreams. What I would say is focus on the important things like being successful.
Yeah.
Like now, I don't focus on, I had to think about how much money I needed because I don't focus on money. I focus on being successful. And then the money is just a byproduct of being successful.
Sure.
So I would hope, and even if I don't reach the additional target of 25,000, I'll land somewhere between 0 and 25,000, and it still won't stop me from making a decision about buying a blue water yacht. I'll still buy a blue water yacht, but it might not be as big. But it will be blue water. I don't want a coastal yacht. I want a blue water.
Yeah. And what do you plan after this?
To live, I want to live
all
on
of
the
this.
sea. Yeah, I want to live on the sea, and then probably focus a little bit more on creativity. I want to document what I'm doing on the yacht from beginning to end. So YouTube channel will be a podcasting YouTube channel, live streaming in different conditions. It's really right now. This is trending.
Yeah, it is. I've seen a lot of people, even some Brazilian folks, hear an old one that I was recording his progress from. I think was about traveling around the world. I don't know if it's near Chile or Argentina, something like that. But it was like really nice. His stories, really, really nice. So yeah,
The thing that they don't tell you is though that you need to be qualified.
yes,
Qualifications cost money.
I imagine.
Not just jump on a boat and off we go and sail away. You need to learn, and so that's why, for me, if I buy a boat, I've actually seen one in Greece. I've messaged the owner and said, if this boat is still the yacht is still for sale in February next year, I'll make you an offer. Yeah, I've seen it. So it's in Greece, and what I want to do is, like I say, is just hang out in the Greek islands to become a sailor. Sailed before. And they've got a license, got an offshore license, but it's limited to 3 miles or something. It's a baby license. But I want to become a sailor. So I think if I'm in the Greek islands, then I can do a lot of sailing. It's nice, calm conditions. You're on the Mediterranean. And then, like I say, after about half a year, you should be in a position then to say, yeah, I've got enough cojones to sail out into the Atlantic. Can I do it?
Yeah, that is a great thing. Wow. It's something that I would do, after some time.
You come and do it. If I make it across the Atlantic, you can go and spend.
I can hop in. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I saw a guy. There was a guy in England, and he's only been sailing for a couple. Well, actually, yeah, he recently got his pilot's license. Skipper's license, and he had a 26-foot yacht, 26 feet, right? And he sailed it from across the Atlantic, South America, not South America, but around Florida, over through the Caribbean, into the Panama Canal, and then into the Pacific Ocean and into the Indian Ocean.
Wow.
And it just alone. There's nobody else. And this boat is tiny little boat, but it's a blue water.
Wow.
It might be little, but it's capable of blue water. The shape, I don't even know, but the shape of a blue water vessel, very different to a coastal vessel.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Wow. Yeah.
Do you want me to send you an invite?
Well, I'll wait for it. If everything goes wrong, then I'll wait for it.
just make your way to the Mediterranean, and I'll pick you up, and we can go around the Greek island.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hang out in the Greek islands for 6 months.
That's great. That's great.
Sitting on the deck, drinking beer, drinking wine, eating fish.
Yeah. That's really nice.
And documenting it. You could be my second mate. Yeah, or chief engineer.
Chief engineer. Wow. Could be it, really.
Nick, it's been amazing seeing you. Well done with your English so far. I hope you've enjoyed our lesson. Please try and come back and see me again. I really do enjoy talking to you.
I will.
And if you have a problem, just send me a message and say, Dane, have you got anything available today between blah, blah, blah? And I'll have a look. If I can fit you in, I will.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's perfect. Thank you so much for the class. I really had fun today. Really.
Well, I hope try to think about this. Pausing with what you're doing when you're speaking. Yeah. Think about it. Sounds very confident.
Yeah.
It makes you sound very, very confident. So, Nick, enjoy the rest of your day, buddy, and come back and see me soon before I disappear on a yacht.